Hello everyone. This is it. This is my completed project. It's finally done after almost 4 months now, and I'm really excited to finally show it off in its final form. So, as you can see, there's a bit different about it since the last video, but I want to start off not by talking about the enclosure, but by talking about something that's a little harder to see. It's this brightness sensor right here. So I added this because if you remember from the last video, in order to turn off the tubes when I won't be looking at them, I had it turn off automatically from the hours of 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. But to be honest, I wasn't really happy with that because after a couple weeks of testing that code out, I found that, sometimes on weekends I would stay up a little bit later than 11 o'clock. On weekdays, some days I would wake up a little bit earlier than 7 o'clock. That's not to mention the fact that, while we're out of the apartment on the weekend, nobody will be looking at it. And so I really wanted a better way of having the clock determine whether somebody is in the room looking at it or not, so that it can turn off the tubes more often and more efficiently. And the solution I came up with was the brightness sensor. So this brightness sensor is actually just a photoresistor that I found in my many electronics kits. And all I did was I just soldered that to 2 of the pins of the Raspberry Pi and wrote 5 lines of code. And then found out that those 5 lines of code broke everything, so I completely rewrote the code, and then I got the brightness sensor working. So what it does is there's an internal brightness threshold, and that threshold, if it goes below a certain amount for 30 seconds, it'll turn off the tubes, and if it goes above that amount for 3 seconds, it'll turn the tubes back on. That being said, in order to show it off for you right now, I have modified the code specifically for this demo so that it will turn off after 5 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the lamp here. Right, so after 5 seconds, this will turn off. Yep. So now that that's off, it'll detect 3 seconds of brightness and then turn back on. Well, and then it'll cycle all the functions. So yeah, that makes it much more efficient at turning off the tubes when nobody's in the room, which, I don't know, I just like that a lot better. I think that's a better way of doing it. And I'm very glad that that was an easy hardware change because I had already designed the circuit boards before that. So now for the acrylic casing, this is something that I promised in the last video, and last weekend I finally got the chance to go to the local library and get it all laser cut out and also laser engraved. So all of the text and the diagrams you see on here were also done in the laser cutter, and it was super easy. All I had to do there was go there and have my design cut out. Although designing the cutout was the hard part, of course, but I had already done that beforehand. But anyway, so I'm just gonna kind of show it from all sides first. As you've been seeing on the front, here you can see each function and which tube it corresponds to. So, you can see this tube means that it is PM. This tube means that the tubes are showing the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. And then I'll push the button. Now it's showing the month, the day, and the year because this tube is on, and then push it one more time, and this tube is on, so it's showing the current temperature, the humidity, and the chance of rain, which is of course 0. And then, push the button again, it turns off. I already showed you that. And so that's what's on the front. On the side here, here's the USB port of the Raspberry Pi, and I labeled that computer because, that's what it is. This side, there is nothing. And then on this side, I'm going to move this around. Here's the power input port. So you can see power 5 volt and 1.5 amp. Like I said in the last video, it's really closer to 1.1 amp. but I just wanted to put 1.5 amp to be safe because that's what most people have. And then this little diagram showing the barrel versus center polarity, just to make sure you don't get the polarity wrong. And so that's kind of all I have aesthetically. As for functionally, the way that this works is there's this top plate which separately connects to the top via the screws and these standoffs. And the reason that this top part connects separately is because the button needs to go through it. The button actually attaches to the acrylic and not to the circuit board because the circuit boards are not tall enough. And so I have to put the button in the top and then thread the wires through, screw the wires into the button, and then put the top on, right? And the bottom, it's actually all glued together. So the bottom part, like the base that it sits on, I guess, and the four walls are all glued together, and that just goes onto the bottom and also screws into the bottom of the circuit board stack. This design was not without its issues though. So first of all, the problem I had was the sizing. So I designed the cutouts for the laser cutter based on the CAD files for the PCBs. And so I measured everything out and I made sure that everything would be exactly as wide as the circuit boards are. Exactly as wide, like down to the millimeter, which turns out was a huge mistake because when I glued everything together and tried to drop the circuit boards into the bottom, it didn't fit because there was absolutely zero tolerance and it was too tight of a fit. And so what I ended up having to do was use the Dremel to sand down the sides, all of the sides of all of the circuit boards, and in order to drop that in there. I know that's kind of like a rookie mistake, but you know, I'm an electrical engineer, not a mechanical engineer, so I know that for next time. Yeah, the other issue I had was the glue. So I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Actually, yeah, you can kind of see it over here. Some of the acrylic is a little bit frosty. That was totally my mistake. Turns out the super glue I had was not clear drying, and I already glued it together by the time I realized it wasn't. So it just looks a little bit, you know, not completely clear now, which is okay. I mean, I think it looks fine, in my opinion. But if I ever make more of these, future versions of these will not have that issue. But I also didn't really feel like laser cutting whole new parts just to fix that one issue, which was the only issue I had at the time. I didn't know about the sizing issue yet. That being said though, I have since fixed all of the issues with the laser cutting file so that it'll fit properly. And I've also fixed all of the issues with the circuit board layout that I talked about in the last video. And you can find both of those fixed files, as well as every file you might need to make your own one of these, in the description. So in the description, you'll find a Google Drive link, and in that Google Drive link, you'll find all of the laser cutting files, all of the circuit board files, all of the Python code that runs on this device, and also like a parts list so that you can order a bunch of stuff and just kind of put everything together based on my videos. Also, I mentioned this in the last video, but I'm going to mention it again because you are now looking at a more complete final product. If you are watching this video and you know me personally and you want one of these, but you don't feel like taking the time and effort to build one, you can commission me to build one for you. I don't know how much it would cost, but if you're interested, just go ahead and reach out to me by whatever means you have, and we'll talk about pricing and delivery and all of that, and I'll see what I can do for you. So that's pretty much it. This will probably be the last video I make on this project. As you can see, it's totally finished now. There's nothing left for me to do, nothing that I can really add to this, and I'm super happy with the way it turned out, so I think I'm gonna leave it here. But I had a lot of fun making this project, and I learned a lot along the way, and my project ideas have gotten more ambitious because of this. So if you enjoy seeing me doing projects like this, if you want, you can subscribe, and I will probably have more to post about this kind of stuff in the future. Also, if you have watched all of my videos so far, I just want to say thank you for sticking with me, and I really appreciate your interest and your support, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I don't really do these videos to get popular or anything. I just do it because I think it's interesting, and I hope that other people find it interesting too. So, yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. Until next time, bye.